Mark Angel became the richest and most influential comedian in Nigeria, but he has a secret which nobody knows about. Guys, stay with me on this video as I reveal to you the secret source of Mark Angel's wealth. Port Harcourt-born Mark Angel is a YouTube celebrity and content creator who was born on the 27th of May 1991. The comedian was raised in a small town in Rivers State alongside his two siblings and hails from Imo State. Mark didn't quite have a rosy upbringing as he was born in a low-income earning family, and as such, he and his siblings had a really tough childhood, struggling to fend for themselves with little support from their uncle. Despite the whole rough situation Mark went through, he never allowed that deter him, as he still was able to attend both his primary and secondary school. After his secondary school education, Mark picked up a JAMB form with the hope of attending a higher institution, even though he never had the financial abilities. Luckily for him, an uncle who used to assist them from tender age saw potentials in Mark and opted to sponsor him in the university. Mark finally gained admission into the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University to study medicine and surgery. While in school, Mark started developing interest in acting and drama. He would often practice and rehearse with some of his friends and colleagues. This continued until they finally formed an entertainment club in the school where some of them were musicians, while others were hype men, DJs, and actors. When it seemed like all was going well for Mark and his future was getting secured, the unfortunate happened. Mark's uncle, who was his educational sponsor, passed away following some undisclosed ailment. It was at this time that Mark realized he was left alone and only had God to look up to. Things became very tough for Mark as he could no longer take care of his academic needs or pay his school fees. Frustrated by what happened, Mark was left with no option but to drop out of school. Mark still really had a bad experience going back to the streets of Port Harcourt, where he grew up, as he could barely afford to feed himself. Now, in a quest for survival, he had to start indulging in different forms of menial jobs, like working in restaurants and bars. From the savings he was able to make while working, Mark was eager to go back to school. But at this time, he had developed even more passion for acting and really loved to hone it professionally. This drove Mark Angel to travel to India in order to further his studies, after finding out that India has one of the best media schools. While in India, Mark settled for cinematography and theatre arts so he could pursue his dream of becoming one of the biggest movie producers in Nigeria. Upon graduation from India, Mark came back to Nigeria as a certified cinematographer and thought the best place he could explore and make do with the knowledge he had acquired overseas was the biggest movie production company in Nigeria, Nollywood. Mark's stay in the Nollywood industry was very brief, as he had a very bad experience there and was never given the opportunity to make significant input, and was also not satisfied with the money he was making. Driven by his big dreams, Mark reached out to his old-time friend Danielson Igwe, who also happened to be in the content creation circle. They both put hands together and launched his first movie production house called Mechanic Pictures. At this time, Mark was getting closer to actualizing his dream and as such, went full-time into skit making, but was not thriving as he expected. He continued pushing until when he needed a child for his projects, he finally met with his relative, Emanuela. After introducing Emanuela into Mark Angel comedy, everything changed and her presence immediately shot him to limelight with the production of their comedy skits, I'm Not Around. Since then, life has changed drastically for Mark Angel as he became the first African to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He has since won numerous awards and signed mega endorsement deals, which have altogether solidified his name in the Nigerian comedy industry. With all the views and revenue Mark Angel generates from his numerous pages, he has become the richest comedian in Nigeria with an estimated net worth of over $1.50 million. He lives in an exquisite mansion in Port Harcourt and owns several properties in Lagos and his hometown. He also has to his name several vehicles worth millions of naira, a Jeep Wrangler, a Land Cruiser Prado, a Mercedes-Benz SUV, and several others. Today, Mark Angel is the most sought-after comedian in Nigeria, and his story has indeed changed for the better, just as that of his family and Emanuela too. In all, one can say it pays to follow one's dream and never give up no matter the circumstances one faces. If you know this month will favor you, type favor in the comment section. See you in the next video.